Hey, I just want to say thank you. Seriously, I want to say thank you for being here now. I want to say thank you for being here in the previous times we've had conversations. I want to say thank you for being who you are, for showing up as you are, right? For your contribution to this world. Isn't being thankful an awesome thing? I'm Greg Schweitzer, and I'm the catalyst at Catalyst Transformation Institute. I'm the founder and chief catalyst. And what that means is my job is just to help you live your best life and do your best work. And today I want to talk about a new perspective around gratitude. As a matter of fact, I'm calling this the utter relief of gratitude. Now, you've heard the word gratitude. It's talked about more these days than it has been in past decades, and you're familiar with it. But what I want to do is I want to talk about a new perspective around gratitude. And whether you use the word gratitude or thankfulness or appreciation, the bottom line is it comes down to liking your life. That's what it really comes down to, is liking your life. That's what gratitude is all about. And yes, we're working towards new things, and we still have desires and wants and so on and so forth, and yet there is still much to be grateful for. So let's talk about some new ways to look at gratitude. Number one is I want you to start by looking at yourself. Like having gratitude for you, for who you are, right? What if you were to be grateful for your choices and your decisions? Because isn't it true that all of your choices and decisions have brought you to where you are today? The good and the bad, right? But there's a lot that you have in your life and that you are as a person that you chose and that you decided on. And have you thanked yourself for that lately? Pretty interesting idea. What about thanking yourself for your own heart? Like for the way that you feel about life. Your emotions are indicators of how your life is going. And have you thought about being grateful for your emotions? The ones that tell you when things are not quite right so that you can get back on track, right? Little flags that are raising saying, hey, this isn't quite feeling right. How do we get back on track? And what about those great feelings? Those feelings that just feel really good and make life worth living. Are you grateful for that? Here's another idea around being grateful around yourself. What about your strengths? What about the things that you're already really good at? What about your inner strengths, right? And your skills and your abilities, whether they're physical or tactile or anything else. What about your strengths? And I'm curious, are you grateful about your weaknesses? Ooh. That's a different perspective. Why would I be grateful for my weaknesses? What's grateful about being weak? Here's the difference, is that weak doesn't mean that we are staying there, that we have to stay there. What it means is that it's giving us an indication that there's areas of growth, right? And if we always have an opportunity to grow, it means we always have an opportunity to be and do and have better. And isn't that worth being grateful for? Totally it is. All right. Now we're going to stretch just a little bit here around gratitude around yourself. Are you grateful for your body? Ooh, yeah, I know. That one goes a little bit deeper. And it doesn't matter whether you're male or a female, right? If you're a guy or a girl, are you thankful for your body? The body that gets you where you need to go. The body that actually moves and takes action and helps make things happen. The body that keeps moving and operating and functioning day after day for you to live. Every one of us has a physical experience of this life, and are you grateful for that piece? Are you grateful enough for your body and toward your body that it actually treats you well? You may not know this, but the way that you think and the way that you appreciate or don't appreciate your body has an effect over your overall health. Not just your mental, emotional health, but I'm talking about the physical operations of your body in your different organs. How's that for gratitude, right? All right, so my question for you is, have you thanked yourself lately? Have you thanked yourself ever? And isn't it about time? I would encourage you with that. Here's another category about gratitude. What about your circumstances? Can you be grateful around your circumstances? Let's talk about this. Your pains and your struggles. Ooh, right? Can you be grateful for your pains and your struggles? And why would I be? Let me tell you a little something about myself. When I was born, a while ago, okay? When I was born with a condition, a genetic condition called PKU. It stands for phenylketonuria. Okay? And what it meant was that my body was missing an enzyme that basically broke down certain types of food into their usable parts so that my physical body could use those parts appropriately. If this part doesn't break down, it becomes a neurotoxin. And I wasn't able to break that down very well at all. That's a genetic condition. Therefore, it meant that my life was going to be different. I ate differently. I behaved differently. I had to pay attention to things a little bit differently than everybody else did. And then later on in my life, in my early 20s, I developed something that they thought was Crohn's disease. Turns out to be not quite that aggressive, but it's still enough to be able to affect my life. And so my body and my digestive system acts a little bit differently, right? And don't get me wrong, lots of times it's been excruciating. It's been painful in my life, okay? I've gone through a bankruptcy. I've lost homes to foreclosure, right? I've even gone through a divorce. Am I thankful for all of those things? Not really at the time, but now I am. Because it has helped me become who I am. It's helped me to grow and to find ways where I was needing improvement, where I was needing even healing and some help. What about your circumstances? How about surprise happenings? Those are circumstances, right? What about a birthday surprise, like a surprise birthday party? Woo, hey, happy 29th birthday, whatever it is. Those can be joyful and things that we can be grateful for, right? Surprise happenings. What about a surprise happening of just getting a card in the mail from somebody or a text message that says, hey, just thinking about you. Just wanted you to know I love you. Appreciate you. That's worth being grateful for, being thankful for. Circumstances. What about where you grew up? I know. Sometimes some of us are like, man, I'm just glad I got out of where I was. Or I want to get out of this town or this area or whatever it is. But what is there to be grateful for there? And what about where you're living now? That's a circumstance. Right? Can you be grateful for that? Oh, here's a good one. Can you be grateful for seasons? See, the thing about circumstances is oftentimes we create our own circumstances, right? And sometimes we create our own troubles and our own pains, and sometimes we create these really great things for us. And yet there's things about circumstances that are outside of our control. Like I didn't ask to be born, nor did I have any sort of say in being born with PKU, but there it was circumstantial, right? What about the seasons? What about the seasons? Because we can't control the seasons. Just yesterday, after doing some work, I left to run an errand, and I was down by the water, down by the river, down by the greenbelt, and I said, I'm just going to go for a walk for a while. I walked way longer and spent more time out there by the water than I had intended to. Several hours, as a matter of fact. But I was just appreciating the newness of the spring, right? The new life and the water and the warmer temperatures. It was really great. But what about the winter months? Sometimes there's great things to be grateful for around the winter months if you're a skier or if you like sports or maybe you just like the beauty of the snow. Okay? How can you look at the circumstances of your life and be thankful and be grateful? I hope you're seeing some new ways to be able to consider ways to be grateful. You see, studies have shown us that even taking the time once a week, even just once a week to sit down, stand up, walk around, whatever it is, and just be grateful, to think about yourself, to think about your circumstances, to think about the things in your life, and just have gratitude for what it is. Just have gratitude for what it is. What about other people? How grateful are you for the other people in your life? Like for their gifts, right? Sometimes people will gift us and they bless us with things. Maybe that little card that came in the mail. Maybe it was the holidays. Maybe it was just because we just recently had a neighbor come by, and because my kids had watched their dog, he dropped by this great yard game, this game that you can play out in the yard, and it's a new one, and we're all excited about being able to play that. That was just a surprise. But we're grateful for having that person in our life. He's our neighbor, and thank God we have a neighbor we can get along with, and actually he's a really pleasant person, right? We enjoy him. What about the people in your life and just their presence? Just them being present in your life. This is something that's way too easy for us to take for granted, especially in the busyness of our world and how things are going. You know, we've got all the responsibilities and the activities that we're doing, but what about just the presence of somebody? And it may be their physical presence, but it just may be their presence. It may be somebody who lives across the country or in a different country. What about a phone call? What about a Zoom call? Gratitude for their presence in your life, right? How about their example? Who are the people in your life that have had a great effect on you because of their example, because of the way they choose to live, because of what they believe, because of what they're capable of doing, because of what they taught you? Maybe it was parents, maybe it was grandparents or aunts and uncles, maybe it was people at work who took you under their wing. I've had that happen and helped me a lot. Okay? And what about their support? Where have people supported you that you may have either overlooked or you've forgotten for a time? And maybe it's time to just reach out to those people and say, look, maybe I don't have anything specific, but I want you to know I appreciate you. And I'm thankful for how you've supported me in my life, because it means a lot to me. You see, what would it mean if these people and these circumstances weren't there? It'd mean we'd be alone. And I know that's not something that any of us wants, right? When was the last time you thanked somebody for just being part of your life? Isn't it time now, maybe? All right. So I've given you a long list of different ways to take a different look at being grateful and practicing gratitude, even if it's just once a week for you to be able to have that. But ultimately, I want you to take just a minute and I want you to think of just one thing. Please do this with me, because I think you're really going to appreciate it. Think of just one thing that you're really grateful for. Maybe you close your eyes and you just think about, what is that one thing? And take a deep breath through your nose. Just let yourself sit in there and be grateful for what that is. This is something we maybe don't practice enough, and maybe it's something that just you practice often and it just feels good to do it again right now. But see, being thankful reminds us of all of the good that we do have. It gives us the opportunity to like our own life. And what an utter relief that is when you sit there in gratitude. And you may just find when you do this, you've actually got it pretty good. All right, you know that I love you. Be great. It's what you're made for.